Hello, stock traders. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day and are enjoying this weekend and enjoying this market rally that has been going on. Definitely, the market is starting to get very, very euphoric. In fact, a little too euphoric. So much so that in this video, I'm going to cover where I think the stock market might be heading. Also, some of the lagging indicators that no one knows about that I feel are going to make a huge difference as the market moves lower from one of the most epic double tops in stock market history. And it'll be interesting to see if this all plays out. Now, again, this is just my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just some market conjecture about where I think the market could be heading. So this last week, as the market has been going higher and higher, a lot of my long-term strategies have been indicating exit points. And man, did I exit a bunch of positions. I have at my peak, had about 49 long-term positions. And this last week, 22 of those alerted to exit point. In fact, my cash position is growing rapidly because of those exits. And I'm still outperforming the market. And I've been able to do this mainly because it is so important to have a strategy and to trust that strategy. We're going to take a look at the S&P 500. Now, we've been on this epic rally, and I'm going to take a look at some of the warning signs. So stick with me, but before we get going, if you could do me a favor, please hit that most amazing and wonderful like button. Also, if you haven't done so before, consider subscribing and turning on those bell notifications so that you get notified when a new video comes out. I do have a Patreon group. I have a link in the description down below if you want my stock picks and market direction, in my opinion, areas that I'm going, then you'll want to be a member. There's free memberships. There's all kinds of stuff available on there. You will want to check it out. It's in the link in the description down below. All right. All that out of the way, let's get to talking about this crazy stock market. Now, this is a weekly chart of the S&P 500, and I'm a big believer in the Elliott wave. First and foremost, we have been on a long-term bullish ride on this Elliott wave, and we started with these DeMark buy signals that are down here. And once we got those, it was an indication that maybe the market had dipped too far. And I had gone in long-term on a lot of stocks when this happened. Now, Elliott Wave believes that the market moves in 5-wave sequences. And we are coming up to a point where we could be entering a double top situation. And I'm going to talk about that goes back on the S&P 500 to the beginning of 2022. And so here in October of 22, we had these buy signals, and then it came up. We have wave one right here to a sell signal. We had a pullback, which is absolutely normal, but we got a higher low. And so that is epic to get a higher low on the weekly chart moving on forwards. And we went on this tear. Hopefully you were in stocks during this tear all the way until July of 23. And then for the next 3 months, we went through wave 4 here on this pullback, and it almost alerted to a DeMark sell signal. This would have been the week that it would have, but then the market turned early, which is kind of common on these pullbacks here. So as the market turned backwards, now we've been on this epic run, and in fact, the market has not taken any break. It has been screaming upwards as individuals are getting squeezed out. Now, we are coming up to what is close to the all-time high on the S&P 500. And as we hit this, I think there's some underlying things and some catalysts to watch for. Okay, so the very first thing is when we come up to this level, I'm a huge seller in the stock market. I am looking to exit positions. A lot of my long-term positions I'll be exiting. This is ultimate euphoria. And in my opinion, the way to invest in the stock market and how I've had success investing in the stock market is buying fear and selling hope. And there is way too much hope in the stock market right now that the Fed will cut rates. I think that they will make a mistake. And just as they took too long to raise rates, they will take too long to cut them. And as we enter this area, I'm expecting this to be right around January 24 when we start to hit this area. Another interesting catalyst is on Bitcoin, where we could see a Bitcoin ETF right around that time frame. And so these things are kind of lining up. And in fact, going into next week, we are going to see a DeMark sell 7 signal. And then we will get 8 and then 9. And this will be a short signal on the DeMark indicators here. And typically, once we get a short signal on the weekly chart, we are going to see a pullback. We are really close to a pullback. And so that's another thing that I'm watching here. And I think this will be seen as a double top, as the economy is not doing as well as these hopeful people are thinking, and that the Fed will not cut rates until the market or something breaks. And I think this will be a symbol to a lot of investors who are very, they've been doing it a long time like me. They've been doing it for a lot of years. We'll see this as an opportunity to sell hope and sell to all those retail investors and sell out of their positions here and take profits on this wonderful move that has lasted all year long. And so this has been a terrific year. But unfortunately, I do think that we are going to see some issues. Now, the first catalyst to watch for is going to be the CPI print coming out very soon for November. November CPI print should be out very soon. And as it's coming out, I'm expecting to see it in the 2s. And then for everyone to be like, oh, well, the Fed was right and everything's so amazing. But as we get into January, February, March of 2024, in my opinion, we will see a negative CPI print. And that will be the time when everyone realizes that at the beginning of January 2022, when we had 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, that was a recession, even though no one called it that. Everyone wanted to not call it a recession. But the fact is that it indeed was. And as we see deflation because of credit being too tight by the Fed, I believe that we will see a massive move to the downside, that this will be the end of this 5-wave sequence, and that we will see a 3-wave move to the downside and get that big time correction. Where could it go? Maybe as low as 360. Maybe even lower. It all depends on how things go, but I am expecting a big time correction as we hit up here. This is something to pay attention to, in my opinion, on the weekly chart as we move forward. All right, so let's take a look at the VIX, and we are seeing some historic things on the VIX also. This is a weekly chart of the VIX. And for those who don't know, this measures fear in the market. It measures fear and it measures greed. And when we see buy signals tend to show tops in the stock market. What? There's something out there that shows a top in the stock market? Yes, there is. And it's important to pay attention to the VIX. So as you see right here on the weekly chart, the VIX came down in August of 2022 when it was its bleakest. We got a buy signal on the VIX, which is actually very, very, very bearish. And we got another one right before the beginning of the epic run on the VIX. We got another one in November of 2022, which is very, very, very bearish, as we got a quick move to the downside. Anyway, this is something to watch as the VIX hits this level. Now, what's happening right now? Okay, so on the weekly chart, we are euphoric, moving way, way up. And how many waves do we have here? Each one of these is after 7. So these waves turn blue on my heat map here on TradingView. And this is wave 1. This is candle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going into next week. And so it's going to be interesting. Now, with the 11th being on Monday, we are going to see another one of those buy signals. And this is usually a signal for the VIX to move upwards in a very aggressive fashion. The market tends to do that. So could this coincide the end of this week with an overall top in the market on the S&P 500 hitting 480 on all-time highs? Possibly. And that is one thing that I'm watching here. And if you count the waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, usually it'll make it to a short signal on the top of a wave 5. So this could get up here. This could hit this, just go up and hit it real quick. And then we could see a move to the downside or by the end of this next week. Anyway, it's something to watch. I think this euphoria is going to run out of steam very, very soon. And so I wanted to come out with this video and just kind of talk about these things. Now, do you agree with me? Reach out to me in the comment section down below. You may think I'm crazy. Well, tell me about it and we'll talk about it. I wish you all the best in the stock market. Please be very, very careful out there. And Raythoven out.